Welcome back to Political Buzz. We were just discussing some issues during the break. John DeShula with you here on WBBZ TV. Hey, let's pick up a little bit more on local politics before we jump into the Buffalo schools. I want to talk about what I would define as the fury in the falls. Mark Hamister, noted developer, looking at developing a hotel project. Carl, you have a five-star hotel, the Giacomo in Niagara Falls. Steve, you're politically connected to some of the people up there. Sam Frachon, longtime councilman, claims there was some really bad things happening up there, and that's why he didn't win in the primary. But then at the same time, Sam's been saying maybe we need to take a wait-and-see attitude with Mark Hamister and what he wanted. But I don't see any other developer clamoring to get up into the Niagara Falls area and do what Mark proposed to do. Your reaction to what happened?
Well, it was a very nasty campaign, and I think that the campaign became so nasty that whether win or lose, there's going to be government issues there going forward because the campaign was so nasty. I think that Hamister was the sideshow to it, and my understanding was that the council was just trying to ask tough questions about what the land transfer was.
Seemed like they pressed his buttons though pretty hard.
But yet I think then it just got blown into the election season, and people on each side kind of used it as political footballs, and Sam suffered from that. I think it's very disappointing. But it's called the silly season for a reason.
But it's not dead. The project, from what I understand, isn't dead. The governor went in, connected with Mark. And you do business up in Niagara Falls. How is the hotel doing up there that you have,
Our
Carl?
hotel is doing well. It took a little bit longer to come up because we don't have necessarily a national reservation system, but it had a very good summer, and we're looking at good things. The town of Niagara Falls, or the city of Niagara Falls and Niagara County, they keep shooting themselves in the foot. The leadership there, the cohorts of Maziar's and all these cronies of his, they're all playing their games, playing their political nonsense, and ripping off the government as best they possibly can. And the result is, I think the populace is just so accepting now of the failure of their governments. They just don't want any part of it anymore. They want to see some new faces occasionally, and hopefully they pray sometime in the future that the community will take off. The worst thing they ever did to Niagara Falls was give 50 acres of land to the Senecas. That was Maziar's and Del Monte at the time signing off that, all this magic is going to happen. All they had to do was look at Atlantic City, and you can figure the problem out. Right?
Hell, having grown up in Philadelphia and visiting Atlantic City, aside from the boardwalk, the rest is very blighted.
That was the worst thing they could do.
Yeah.
They destroyed the city.
Let's talk about the Buffalo School Board. And before the show, we made mention I'd ask you one question, and a half hour later we'd be wrapping up the show, so we'll have to be brief. There's so much going on. But I will say, Carl, since you joined the Buffalo School Board, elected to be on the school board, you've peeled back a lot of layers, and there's a lot of things that have happened. Pinnacle Charter School had their issues. There's growing resentment against the superintendent, even from people as moderate as Bob Bennett at the Regents. What is going on? Give us the inside background.
I've isolated the problem to a complete lack of leadership, top down. It has to be replaced. You combine that with the racist attitude on the part of many that sit on the board, and you have chaos everywhere. You have a morale problem in every constituency of the Buffalo Public Schools. You've got leadership that just refuses to engage the reality that 45 of 57 schools are failing. I mean, that's the reality of it. 46% of the kids graduated last year, and it's on their watch that all this failure occurred. Well, how much more are we going to take of Florence Johnson and Barbara Nevergold and Sharon Kottman, who were there during this decline and who think they could still call the shots? So at some point, it has to end. Andrew Cuomo comes to town and he said, I want to do something about urban education. The solution is so simple. He says, I got to wait till January because I'm going to put together a plan. You know what's going to happen with that plan. And Sheldon Silver and NYSET, the New York State United Teachers, are going to get in the way and all the rest of that nonsense. The solution is right in front of you. Bobby Jindal just did it down in Louisiana. They gave vouchers to every one of those kids in a failing school. We have 45 failing schools, 27,000 kids. Give them vouchers. Let those parents let them have a real choice to take their children to another school, and you'll see a correction of all the problems. Yes, the Buffalo public schools may reduce to half its size, but at least we will be doing something now and not kicking the can down the road any further.
Well,
does Andrew Cuomo have the backbone to do that?
No, I think what you're
well,
going to see,
think so.
I think the governor is going to be very serious. When he came in here and said death penalty for failing schools, some people didn't like that choice of words. But the truth of the matter is he is dead set serious on working to improve the education systems in the cities, especially in upstate New York. He knows that the Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany's are all being held back by the schools. So I think
How did
you're
he
going to
just
see a
figure
very
that out
serious
after
plan.
4 years?
I think you're going to see a
He's
very
been there-
serious.
He's been in state government for
Well, but-
12 years now.
But he's still in his first term for governor, and I think what you're going to see is he's going to go like a laser beam, like he has for Buffalo. He's here constantly on economic development, jobs,
He has
and
been here
getting
a lot.
involved, picking up the phone, doing things we haven't seen from governors in the past, where
do you think
we're
what Carl-
basically just a campaign stop for most.
Do you think what Carl has done, though, has created this
I
as a
think what
front burner issue,
Carl
not only
has-
for the governor, but Mayor Brown and the
I
other
think what
candidates,
Carl
too?
has done is terrific by actually bringing to show that somebody can get involved and take a different out-of-the-box perspective and not just saying that, oh, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this because we haven't done it and accept failure. I think he's done a terrific job of putting the spotlight on, but I would just ask that you take a little of the politics out of it and look to keep an open mind of what the governor's going to do, because I think you might find that you're on the same wavelength with that.
Well, I'm making a suggestion to him. Do vouchers only for the kids in the urban districts who are held captive by our politicians for the sole purpose of keeping them hungry and poor. It's nonsense. The Democratic Party has put together the New York State United Teachers and the urban poor into one pot and says that there's some commonality. There is absolutely no commonality. All right, maintaining this status quo in our urban education systems is a complete failure.
The status quo
You
has
can't
failed,
do
and
it.
I think that this is one Democrat who is open to looking at out-of-the-box solutions, and I think that you're going to see a strong plan from Governor Cuomo because
We've heard that
clearly
before,
the
this.
status quo has failed.
It does seem
Period.
like
But
Commissioner
why
King
does
is
he have
holding
to wait
everybody's
till
feet to the fire.
January? Why doesn't he do it now? Why doesn't he call? I mean, you've got kids out there in 45 failing schools in Buffalo. Why doesn't he call the legislature in and said, enough is enough. Do something now. I want vouchers for all those kids so that next year those kids, their parents can take them to a viable
Well,
school.
I think you'll
no,
see.
this kicking the can down the road.
I
Steve.
think you'll see a lot of strong action out of the governor.
Do you think Commissioner King has taken, it seems to me like he's taken a pretty strong stance
and
on
that's one of the
holding everybody
results of the
accountable?
governor.
Do you think that he's carrying the governor's
I think
water in
He
this?
Commissioner-
clearly is.
I think Commissioner King has delayed the ultimate too long. So now he's recognizing that we're not going to stand for it anymore, and he is reacting nicely, and I'm happy about that.
Have you met him? What have you discussed?
I've talked to him, yes, and I admire his change in attitude that took place in the last few months, where he is coming down hard on Buffalo. I'm telling him, come in and take over the Buffalo school system, at least temporarily, until we can get vouchers out there and get this school system down to a size that it's manageable.
And this will clearly be a topic in the mayor's race, I would think, coming up in the general election.
I think so. I think you'll see it as a topic. It was a topic in the primary.
I think if Byron Brown wants to get involved, it would be good for the community. This idea that the mayor of the city is detached from the school system, we can't keep living with that. I think he's shown a willingness to get involved, and that's good for the city.
We'll keep keep us posted, Carl, on what's happening in the Buffalo schools. We have more political buzz right here on WBBZ. Don't go away.